Okay.
We're going to get on to the next one.
Let's do it.
Okay. What we got next? Okay. You want to do Wicked or you want to do One Battle first?
Oh, hell. Let's get One Battle out of the way.
Okay. One Battle After Another came out. If you want to hear my other in-depth thoughts about it, they're over on Review Anew with DJ the Rap Critic. What were your thoughts about it?
I remember liking the movie. I thought Leo was really good in it. The Sean Penn stuff was wild, and being thinking that Chase Infinity was great. She was phenomenal. Thinking the action was tense, being funny. The stuff with the revolutionaries seemed topical, and being disappointed that Tiana Taylor was not in the movie as much.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Damn, that's crazy," because she's great in the movie. She's magnanimous in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Leo was really good. He was definitely playing against the type we're accustomed to him playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I might need to watch it again. I remember being locked into the end, being locked in the beginning, and I think I may have like dozed off somewhere in the middle. I went to see it in theaters. It was a long day, but yeah, the reveal was crazy. Spoilers, by the way.
Oh yeah, spoilers for this.
That she was the daughter of Sean Penn, like the biological daughter. I'm like, damn, I didn't realize. I was like, I didn't think she actually slept with him. That was crazy because the way that
me neither.
The way that the scene played out, it didn't seem like she was sleeping with him. It seemed like she was like kind of like manipulating him and like,
right,
like she could have been pegging him for the way this played out. It seemed like
that's what I thought.
So I was like, oh, she actually let this man hit. That's crazy. And cheated on Leo. That's crazy.
Damn, that's crazy.
But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I don't think I revere it to the same degree that a lot of other people do, but I remember really enjoying it.
Yeah, I am in the FD signifier camp. As a film on pretty much every technical level, it's very, very strong. Great cinematography, incredible performances, a really interesting script, a lot of, I'd say, overall engaging characters. The themes and politics of this movie suck ass.
Go on.
This movie is not, I think, this movie is incredibly thought-provoking, but not in a good way. It is because of the absence of what it does, because it is a movie about the impact of Black women on a lot of people's choices in life and decisions, but it doesn't put enough focus on them, despite them being the driving force for the majority of the events of the plot. And they are Black women with a lot of interesting layers, because the movie is also a very loose adaptation of a book. The changes that are made to make these characters be a particular way, it doesn't explore that for a narrative that, like, fundamentally the narrative is it's a family story about finding and retrieving like a family and a father trying to get back to his daughter they feel like it lost.
Yeah.
An interesting narrative. It is through the veneer of radical left-wing politics that just do not work. From the perspective of somebody that I think that doesn't really have something to say, but I think wants to say something. And as someone that is not smart enough to say it, I can recognize when somebody else is not well read enough to say it. Like, I am not somebody that does an incredible job in engaging in real life political praxis. I openly admit that. in my feedback to it. At that same token, I can recognize like echoes and callbacks and references to like different real things. Like seeing the name French 75 immediately, I'm like, oh, why does this remind me of Weather Underground? But way less organized. like Weather Underground was like, I think, bombed out, and that's what like closed that chapter in history. Like there's a very like Perfidia is such a layered character, but when you make her a black radical domestic terrorist, freedom fighter, rebellious, like all those things have a different context under which they occur with her being, you know, a black woman that I don't think the movie does enough to engage with. And then with her being removed basically after the first 35 minutes, like it's, one, she's all over the marketing, but two, there's so much left undiscussed. Like when it turned out that she really was a rat that ratted out the rest of her group to save herself, when she was like, you know, did not want to engage with motherhood, when she was like sexually, it's like, I think when I was talking with DJ about it, I'm like, this is somebody that is engaging with the action of revolution, but it seems like is disconnected emotionally as to why. Because she's doing a lot of really stupid shit that is very confusing as a viewer to watch. But because we don't get any of her perspective, and it's all through like, or predominantly through Leo's eyes, we don't know why she's doing what she's doing.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't care. I care, but it stands out because a lot of it is really dumb shit. Like
yeah, she, like her, Leo, if I remember correctly, like Leo's there to take care of the baby, and she was like, yeah, why you hold me down or hold me back or some shit like that. I'm struggling to remember the individual pieces of it. I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, but there's a woman that, from my interpretation of the character, very much operates from the vein of, I am who people want me to be, and I'm only authentically myself in like bursts, that has a real interesting story. It's like, oh, you come from a long line of like dissenters and a lot of the women in the family. I take it as somebody that like got told what she's supposed to be. It's like, you're supposed to be a revolutionary, you're supposed to save the world, now you have to be a mom. She gets told what her role is, but she's not really connected with it. And then it's just like, oh, she's also like very sexual, but also like hypersexualized. Like it's weird. There's a lot of weird, it seems like she's seen through the veneer of outside, and that's how she's presented. She's an interesting character, and also she sucks. Like, and that is, yeah, she's flawed, you know, but we don't get enough time with that flawed person. Then she leaves and it's left, and the person that has to stand up and fill that sort of role is her estranged daughter, like Willow.
And it's interesting because they give the character enough time on screen, coupled with kind of Taylor's performance of the character, to want you to want to draw you in. Because I feel like there's easily a version of this story that gives you that character only enough of that character to be serviceable to the characters that we're actually following. But the way they set her up feels like she's going to be integral in her own arc to the narrative, but she's not.
And not just set her up. In the narrative, how they market it for the movie.
That is
because, like, I saw Teyana Taylor, Regina Hall, and Chase Infinity more than I saw anyone else in this movie. Mind you, Leo and, was it Sean Penn?
Yeah. I didn't know Sean Penn was in it. I knew Leo was in it.
Yeah, and like, Sean Penn does a fantastic job. He is the most hateable piece of shit, like, I've seen on screen in a while. In a couple months, you know, between that and Sinners, you know, seeing actual Klansmen, I'm like, oh, there you go. So it's like diabolical, deplorable piece of shit that is in the movie significantly more than at least two of them combined. Yeah. I'll say Chase Infinity is like up there with like Leo and Sean Penn. She's like the third most important one there in terms of like presence, because it's really about like her. And also at the end of the day, Leo's character really doesn't do much of shit. Like, he gets his daughter back, but a lot of that is from her. She ends up saving herself, nearly kills him in the process. Like, don't get me wrong, he tries to get her, but the most competent, organized people are like the immigrant and Latino and South American people that is like that are actual real people that have like a system of organization. And the movie just like, because it's so seamless and structured, it just breezes by in like 5-10 minutes. Like the sequence, like, okay, they're coming in, we have to go out, you know the plan, you Leo go through here and do da 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 da. So like Leo is like it is interesting in so much as you have a narrative where the main character is passive.
Yeah, for sure. He's a passive protagonist who's helped along by these other, other more strong, competent people of color or minorities.
Exactly, and that's been the case. And not to say that he does nothing. It's not to say that he's never active in the movie. He tries to be, but the circumstance. It is crazy how he basically bumblefucks his way back into the thing that he wants, which is getting his daughter back, due to the like specific, very heavy, hard efforts from literally everybody around him.
Yeah.
Like the movie is carried by everybody but him, and he's still the ultimate winner. I mean, like Willow wins a little bit, but she also has to carry the burden of knowledge that she's not truly the biological daughter of Leo's character.
Yeah.
So even she loses something. You know, like Perfidia can't be with her kid.
And I don't think Leo ever finds out
friends.
that she's not his either.
That's what I took from the implication at the end. So he's under the guise that he had like this dynamic, crazy whirlwind but loving relationship with Perfidia. And like even Perfidia suffered because there's an implication that maybe she was assaulted. How much was consensual? How much of that is her being a victim? You know, Regina Hall's been on the run for 10, 20 years at this point. She gets arrested. Like you said before the call, we don't know what happens to her.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Yeah, the movie does do a disservice to black women in that way. I just realized that,
Yeah, like Jungle Pussy does some you know, which is the rapper's name. That is the young lady's name. I know a lot of people are shocked by that. But when it's like Jungle Pussy, I'm just like, oh, the rapper. Oh, she played herself in a way, like a fictionalized version of herself. That's interesting. But they don't give her enough because she goes on this long speech about like during a bank heist about like sex and patriarchy. There's like interesting ideas that are like they put their foot in the door and then we just shift the focus to something else. And so it's like, I don't think this setup works for the narrative that they wanted to have of just like, you want a narrative where everybody has like a little dirt to them, where these are flawed and imperfect characters, but it doesn't work because I don't think you have the historical and cultural awareness to give each of those, and also like the runtime too, to give them that attention that they really deserve. And because go ahead.
I'm glad you.
No,
said
I'm done.
That.
Go ahead.
I'm glad you said that because we get Jungle Pussy's speech at the end in the towards the beginning in the bank, right? And it's when you said that, it makes me think that we live in a time where when characters say something, it's implied that what the characters are saying, they're the ultimate voyeur of authority and perspective. So that when the characters are saying something, that's what the movie's saying. And not necessarily that's the truth of every movie, but if we're going to have a character, one who's black, who's a black woman, but two, saying these things, I'm not saying the entirety of the movie needs to adopt that as its message, because I don't think the movie itself is about that. But that is the perspective these characters are taking within the film. Then, if that's a character within your narrative that you felt was important enough to state that as her position, as her perspective, then that character needs to be represented within your narrative, whose motivations and intentions are guided by that point of view. But by saying that and removing her from the narrative largely from that point on, it kind of makes it like, what was the point to begin with?
Yeah. It makes it feel hollow, and especially in a day and age where protest and government oversight and political uh, prisoners is like a not uncommon thing that more people are being made aware of. Like, I think it was a week or two after I saw the movie, Asada Shakur had passed away. Like, escaping the darkness of the American legal system and living out the rest of her hopefully somewhat happy life in Cuba. Like, the kind of similar to Sinners a little bit, the only way to escape that tyranny was in death, of all things. She had a $2 million bounty on her head for the alleged murder of a police officer from like the 80s. Mind you, it was 1 million up until the Obama administration and doubled under his administration. She was like, I think top 10. I think she was the highest woman on the FBI's most wanted list.
Oh, wow, I didn't know about
for
this.
for one alleged murder because she escaped prison and fled to Cuba. Wow. And so, like, thinking about the fact that they're like, real people. So when I'm watching the movie, where it's just like, where my politics are, skew very much towards the left, very much from like a restoration and kind of liberation practice in an ideal scenario. I'm not perfect, and I can stand to read more books. So it's like, this is from a very uninformed mindset of someone that wants to learn more. It seems like watching it hits in two places where I know just enough names and just enough theories to recognize what this is. And it feels like cosplay, where I'm like, people that actually do this work will hate this.
Yeah.
I have the benefit of ignorance, where I am not as engaged as more of a average regular citizen that just like engages in cultural commentary at best, at absolute best. I get to watch it and view it as entertainment. A lot of people that this is their reality, seeing what they're doing, what their real work is as like cosplay, I can see is very disrespectful. So I have just enough information to be like, why are they so fucking dumb and incompetent? And it makes it worse when you see competent individuals, minority groups in the movie being functional and organized.
Yeah.
So it's like, not only have you introduced a lot of your leads as dysfunctional, that get broken up and basically imploded by one already unstable person, you now have a point of comparison in your own movie. So you end up kind of doing a disservice to whatever alleged attempt at a message. Or it's kind of like if you're watching Superman but you're seeing, and how Superman's supposed to be, and it's like if you had David Cornsweet Superman and then Man of Steel Superman in the same movie. And you can easily say, it's like, yeah, that guy Henry Cavill looks like Superman, but he's not really doing Superman shit. And then he flies off later, and then you see Cornsweet Superman doing all the right Superman shit, and then disappears. And then you keep following Man of Steel Superman for the rest of it. It's like, well, what the fuck? Which I think somebody did an edit of that exact thing. It's weird. It puts you in a weird headspace where it's like, oh, well, there goes a whole other movie happening in the background.
Yeah.
While we're following this bumbling dickhead that has fried his brain with weed, probably from a bunch of trauma, as a single dad that doesn't trust the system, and he still wins. And then it's like, so other Superman saved the day, and here comes Man of Steel, and he still gets all the credit for the work that Lois Lane and the Daily Planet were doing to stop Zod. It is a weird thing thematically and emotionally. That's where I'm like, technically, I think as a film, it's really good. But it like falls apart from critical analysis, being somebody that operates within and adjacent to marginalized identities in this country, knowing that on a constant basis, these are thoughts and conversations that I not only have to have interpersonally, but also like professionally. Like I have to talk because I'll work with black men and black women. Sometimes this is shit that'll come up. Like I think 2 or 3 times this week, the Venezuela shit came up because it's relevant to the work that I have to do at work of being like, staying informed. How are you staying safe? What are you doing if ICE is coming to your place of work? So it's real shit. That's the thing. It's like and I think a lot of white people up until 2 days ago, when the second documented incident of somebody getting murdered through ICE hit the news, and this time it was a white woman, people are like waking up like, oh, this is real shit.
Yeah, it was interesting because they wanted, it felt like, I don't know if it was the directors and writer, or if it was his intent, or even the writer of the book, because I don't know how accurate this is to the book itself, but yeah, there's this revolutionary movie that isn't resolved within the movie about a man trying to get his daughter back, and it feels like they did interesting shit with addressing the revolutionaries, but not focusing on that, because that's the part that's less palatable for wider audiences.
Yeah, and while I don't think it was a intentionally malicious thing, because I do remember learning originally in the book, it was a white woman that was a photographer that was going like undercover, and then willingly chose to turn on them and be with the government asshole. So it was like a deliberate choice, which there's a lot of commentary there about like white women and adjacency to power. But trying to like put that on a alleged revolutionary black woman in order to add complexity, you need the rest of the runtime to unpack that. About what like, being someone that's like casually informed, I know what leads to a person like a Candace Owens. I can comprehend that. I do not agree with that or the circumstances, but I get, like a Candace Owens, a Clarence Thomas. While I think those people are absolute morons and they are people that ultimately work against the progress of American society, I can understand what leads to what leads to what. So you have a character like Perfidia that is a rat for a movement that is allegedly revolutionary, although, again, they're very messy and sloppy, who then turns their back not only on her friends, but her literal family, and exposes them to the risk of the American government, and then you just don't touch on that.
Yeah.
And then you have, like, people from that same group that are now underground, literally and figuratively, like Regina Hall's character that has to come and be this savior, all of a sudden in the middle, and take her to this nunnery out in the West of all these young, women, mostly women of color, that are like running a weed farm and living in solitude and isolation, and we don't focus on it. And then the government does a raid on them. A lot of them are getting arrested or shot. So there's violence and hostility to black women. We don't focus on it. And then this 18-year-old black teenager gets kidnapped, learns that like she is possibly the child of sexual assault, that she, like, her entire worldview is shattered. So all these years of training that her father has indoctrinated her with, all this mythologizing of her mother crumbles down, and she has to save herself from possibly being trafficked and or worse, and we don't give it enough time to breathe. So, like, in service of this general narrative of a father wants to be reunited with his kidnapped daughter, there is this gigantic elephant in the room of disregard for the emotional experiences of complex black women existing under a system. I am way more curious about I'm way more curious about the world that produces a Perfidia than the experiences of Leo's character.
Yeah.
It's not that Leo's character is bad inherently, but you wrote him to be passive, to smoke his brains out, to probably cope with the trauma. We don't get a lot of rumination on that. It's very much implied, of living with that, of being abandoned, of being in isolation. We don't get, so it even doesn't discredit to Leo's character. So it's like the movie sits in a really weird place where I think it's really good technically, but it gets into some really weird borderline fetishistic places that people may have a hard time engaging with, because they stop thinking after, well, there's a lot of black women in it and they do a lot in the plot, which is, yeah, technically true. The performances are really good. Yeah, very true. Chase Infinity does an incredible job. I want to see more things that she's in. Teyana Taylor does an incredible job with a character that has a lot of depth and nuance. Regina Hall, with the little bit that she's afforded, does a great job, as she always does. Never seen, those like with bad performances. Teyana Taylor was good in fucking Coming to America too. So it's a movie.
How would you feel? Do you feel like, and I'd highly doubt this would ever happen, but do you feel like a follow-up movie that runs concurrently with the events of One Battle After Another about Persephone would either soften the blow or make this movie more palatable if we did get a film that runs concurrently following her journey through everything that happened?
Yes, but Paul Thomas Anderson can't do it.
Yeah.
He can introduce a story as far as like basically a story. I would not really want to see him do the screenplay for it, because I don't think it's not. And again, this is not to say that he is a dumb man or that he's a hack or anything like that. This is my first time with a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, and again, I thought it was good as a movie. Critically examining it as a cultural commentator, so it's like he doesn't have the scope to do it in the same way I would not have the scope of understanding to be able to craft a narrative about the experiences of indigenous Two-Spirit people in the middle of a pandemic on a reservation. I can't craft that narrative. I don't have that experience. I don't have that group around me to do so. And even if I were to cast it and include their insight, I don't think that would be enough. I think you would have to have someone that really knows their shit and is well read to do it.
Yeah, I would for sure want to see a Black Helmed redemption story for her, and even if it's not necessarily a redemption story, a story that provides more insight into that complex character.
Yeah, like even if they double down on her being a rat, I would be very interested to see why, because I think I see a why. And this is the way I see it is Perfidia is a woman that is labeled but not identified. So she has labels of she is, Black, she's a woman, she is sexual, she is all these adjectives, but she doesn't get to be Perfidia. She doesn't get to play
these roles, but she doesn't she doesn't feel like she can be herself without the pressures of the roles she's now surrounded by.
Exactly. She doesn't get to describe these as herself. She doesn't get the freedom of choice outside the constraints of the roles that are put upon her, which I think is maybe something a little bit that Black women may be able to resonate with, where it's like a lot of Black women don't get the freedom to be hypersexual if they want to be without feeling intense criticism or feedback. They don't get to be or often speak to the disdain and difficulty of motherhood and pregnancy like they want to, without like fear of judgment or persecution. Like, how often do you get to hear a woman, let alone a Black woman, say, I didn't want to be a mom?
Yeah.
And have that be, and not have that get like negative feedback. or want to say, I wanted all my husband's attention and I just wanted to fuck in crazy spaces and run around. It's like, or to be selfish, really. I think that's a big thing. She doesn't get to be selfish. I think that's the heart of my argument.
And I'm trying to remember if we get this scene. Do we remember? Did we get a scene where she discovers that she's pregnant?
I don't know if we did. I can't. I know it was a couple months ago. I might be misremembering, but I don't think we did. Where she discovers. I think they were making out in front of like the dynamite, and then it cuts to her with like the machine gun and is pregnant, however many months.
Yeah, because I feel like that's a moment that'd be kind of telling. Like her even deciding to have a baby at all. Someone who doesn't want to be a mother, and why she decides to have a baby.
Yeah, because it's like what is in her world. Because while I may not be able to empathize, because I'm not a black woman, I may be able to sympathize with like the plight of a woman that along every step may be stripped. Like somebody that was raised in a family of revolutionaries, you probably don't get a lot of opportunities to stray from it, to like experiment or stray. Like imagine the obstacles of being a militant pro-black person. You bring home a white boy as your baby daddy.
Yeah, and I wish that
that alone is a movie, and that's a bottle film in and of itself.
Yeah, no, for as pro-black and as revolutionary as she was, that could have been a whole other can of worms. But also, maybe this was like fantasy or pipe dream, but like, yeah, you get this group of black women who are these powerful revolutionaries, granted a little disorganized, but to contrast that, you have these like super secretive Illuminati-esque racist white higher up guys,
right?
And who need their comeuppance, but who don't really end up getting it. But it's just fucking Sean Penn, who gets it twice. By the way, I was like, I felt like we could have just left his ass in the car, but they had to bring him back just to kill him again, just for his own people to kill him.
Yeah, which it is a little bit of a you're not bigger than the program type dealing, but it's just like it's. And I saw it coming when he started like walking out that car when he somehow survived that fucking shotgun blast, damn near point blank. So it's like it is a comeuppance, but I can see how it's like it rings hollow because just the system cleaning up errors.
Yeah,
like you're just cleaning up strays on the paper, and that's all it is. Yeah, it's like, oh man, we missed one. It's like, oh man, I missed a zit.
Yeah, and it sucks because I like the revolutionary movie we were getting, and it's just the fallout of a failed revolution that is essentially what the movie is. And I wish that we would have gotten the chance to see them kind of reform and kind of fight back again.
Yeah. So, anything else on One Battle?
No, I think we're good. We covered a lot. I like seeing the Latino community really step up and fucking be very cool and capable. And yeah, I like seeing that.
That I did agree with. I was glad with the light that they kind of got to cast them in. It's not comparative to the Black Radicals in the French 75. I'd take it more as because that was a lot more of a diverse group. That was a more diverse series of issues versus like one collected group with one collected goal. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of like, it didn't really hit as hard. So I didn't take it too personally, but all right. Wicked for good. You want to start this off? Cause you said you had some thoughts.
Oh man. So I reacted to this movie. I reacted to both of them. I reacted to Wicked 1.
That's right. I had to wait to talk to you about it. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I reacted to Wicked 2. And Wicked 1 was great. It was this story about this girl who was never accepted in life, not by her family, not by her peers, but discovers that she needs to do the right thing to do by these animals because no one else will. And in the process of that, coming into and accepting who she is as a person. And then the second half is the continuation of that, but told from Glinda's perspective, and ultimately about Glenda being good and this green black woman having to
greener
having
Sorry,
to sacrifice her cause so the palatable white woman could be able to get her message across, because people weren't willing to accept her. So you have to get it to some. So it's like what does they say? Like a compromise win, so to speak, which is fucking lame. But it wants to be that. Well, also wanted to be a Wizard of Oz prequel, which, if you break it down, doesn't fucking work.
No. In the most technical sense, it does not work with the is it Universal version?
The MGM.
The MGM version. So I guess now Amazon.
Because, and the reasons, one of the few of the reasons being, one, why is this girl Nessa Rose called the Wicked Witch of the West, Wicked Witch of the East, if she never actually becomes a witch? Which maybe in this version they never clearly defined that, but it wants to be its own thing. But the only reason it gets to be its own thing, the only reason it's popular on Broadway, the only reason it's a film in the first place, is because everybody loves that classic movie. Which, if you're not going to take the time to explore why these things are different, your default mind and mindset goes, oh, the parts they're not giving us information on must be similar to the thing that I'm familiar with. So if you're not going to fill in those gaps,
fill in the gaps.
If you're not going to fill in those gaps, then it leaves room for misinterpretation. For example, the fact that Bach becomes the Tin Man, and he's heartless, not in a way that the other movie presents it, but in a way that he's like ruthless, he's cold, right?
Yeah.
But he still should remember that he had a relationship with Elphaba, that he loved Glinda, which it seems like he still knew. And then same thing with Fiero. They never established that the Scarecrow doesn't have a brain in this movie. They just established that he becomes a Scarecrow.
I mean, they beat the brains out that nigga.
I guess so. But didn't seem like he was changed, because he still was capable and was able to talk to fucking Elphaba, and they go off into the sunset. So both of these characters know who our main character is, and there's no explanation for why the fuck they wouldn't know each other, because they're, to our understanding, they're both capable of speech and full autonomy. So they should have some sort of conversation about what the fuck's going on with Elphaba and what's been happening between their two experiences. And it's just, a lot of it doesn't work. Also, Elphaba, they made a weird choice of her not crying or seemingly feeling anything when Nessa Rose died, and then having a fight scene immediately following that. It was just an odd experience of a movie for me. But yeah, man, those are my quick ranty thoughts. How did you feel about Wicked for Good?
I liked it. I didn't love it as much as part one. I think it's because, especially with it jumping, I believe 5 years, they basically have to speed run a conclusion that accounts for what is clearly the MGM version of The Wizard of Oz and not L. Frank Baum's book, The Wizard of Oz. And the movie highlights flaws with I believe almost 20-year-old musical. So it puts it in a weird position. But it does it like artificially, where it kind of like Doctor Sleeps itself, where it's like, yes, it's a sequel to The Shining, the book and the movie, in a way. So, but I think that movie, I think that's one of the greatest sequels of all time. So it clearly does it well. This one,
Doctor Sleep is great. I just watched that for the first time in a long time recently. Love that movie.
I like Doctor Sleep more than The Shining, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But okay. Glad I'm not alone. But it's like with For Good, we should have knew this shit was up when they just didn't call it part 2. But they gave it a whole different subtitle, so now motherfuckers gonna be confused forever that it's Wicked Part 1 and then Wicked for Good. which is like, yeah, for sure. That's like, Wicked A, side A, and then Wicked the end. Like, all right, I guess.
Right.
That sort of flows. I think the performances were still great. The music was great. I think part one has more memorable songs.
Yep.
Although this one does have some strong standouts, like the one with the I really like For Good. I really like.
Wait, did you see it in theaters?
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah, we saw it in theaters.
Nigga, were you bobbing your head when she was like, "When I'm on, mama"?
I'm Hey.
Get it.
But like For Good actually made me emotional a little bit. So I really like the presentation of For Good. I can see why it would bother you.
No, I thought it was well executed, but I don't know. You
feel like it wasn't earned?
Nothing. It wasn't earned. I liked the. I don't. Go on. I gotta let my feelings cook a little bit.
Okay, so it's like I really liked For Good. I really liked what is the one that the duet between Elphaba and Fiyero. I'm forgetting the name of the song, but it's like I came out really liking that one. I like the opening number. I was kind of indifferent on No Place Like Home. I didn't really care for Girl in the I didn't really care for Girl in the Bubble.
Because those are both original songs for the movie.
Yeah. It's not like I don't think they didn't fit. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, not everything's going to be a hit. Like, I don't remember everything from part one either. But it's like, narratively, what? So the biggest takeaway from this is apparently there's been a lot of discourse, I guess, amongst like queer fandom Twitter, where so here's the way that I explained it after watching part two. Here's the breakdown of this messy ass polycule. Part one, Glinda is a closeted lesbian that has a crush on a marginalized green-black bisexual named Elphaba. Fiyero is half beard, half legitimate interest because that nigga Jonathan Bailey is very handsome. Fiyero likes both of them. He clearly likes Elphaba more, but he can get more upswing with the pink girl. So Greenie leaves, and so he's stuck with Pinky as a power move. She allows him access and adjacency to power. He winds up running their Air Force. He's closer to the wizard. So he basically can do what he wants to search for who he really wants to be with. That black queen with those beautiful locks. Cynthia still looks bust down, beautiful baddie the whole movie, even in part two. I won't take that away from her. House down boots. Part two happens. And this is where motherfuckers get mad because they don't get it. Glinda is Elphaba's jump off. It was never gonna be her. It was always gonna be Fiyero. She thought she was the main bitch. Glinda thought she was the main bitch. She was always the side bitch. She was never gonna be the main bitch. Elfie always wanted Fiyero. Fiyero always wanted Elfie. Elfie would have wanted Glinda, but Glinda didn't show up like Fiyero did. Fiyero tolerated Glinda. That's why he kissed her like he was kissing his fucking grandma when they got engaged. That weak ass is like, I'll get married if you want to get married. That is maybe one of the worst things a man could ever say.
That was crazy.
Where it's just like, it's like, are you ready for us to be married? I mean, I'll marry you if you want to get married. He didn't give a fuck.
He didn't give a goddamn.
His woman was in the fucking woods talking with the crows and monkeys and shit. Like, you know what the truth is. Fiyero and Elphaba were always going to be together. And whether Pinky stayed or went, they weren't going to vote. They weren't going to vote her out the polycule, but she wasn't showing up like that. And I think that, and it wound up really bothering my fiance because people were going so hard, but skipping over the text of the movie about Glinda's character, where she does have an arc, but the arc like speedballs in like the last 20 minutes. And it requires Elfie to basically die for a white woman to realize not only how strong my feelings were for her, but also that I need to stop being passive and stop prioritizing my adjacency to power over doing the right thing. And it took me losing somebody that both people that I truly love to do so. But one person that in my headcanon, she loves more. I think she loves Elfie more, but she doesn't want to admit that because, I don't know, some weird bullshit. She's always been about image. So it's always going to look good to be next to the regular skinned person versus the darker skinned person, the one that is ostracized. Why would I date? Why would I loudly go express my love for somebody that has been marginalized their entire life? That comes at a detriment to me because the most of what I care about is looking important to people. We see this when she's a kid. She would rather lie and pretend that she actually had magic than tell people that, oh, it didn't work. I didn't make that rainbow. She's like that all of her life. And when she finally finds somebody, she has to die and he has to leave. That's the other thing. People keep taking away Fiero's agency, which is weird because he's a man. Where it's like, oh, why did Glinda fight Elfie? Elfie stole her man. That nigga left! He left! He said, bitch, move! I said, move. He pulled the blicky out and pointed it at his fiance and said, get the fuck back. I'm leaving with her. He said, how dare you disrespect me in front of my woman? I'm going with her. Those are the clearest words that I've ever heard a man say, bitch, I don't want you. Besides saying that, he said, I'm going with her and pointed a gun in her face. And this crazy ass bitch, this crazy white woman that can't for 5 seconds believe that a man would not want her, immediately goes, why would Elfie do this to me? Clearly, we have to find a way to destroy her.
Right.
She can't she can't believe for 1 second because
someone wouldn't want her.
She can't fathom that someone would pick someone else, not only someone else, this black, green, micro-braided queen, that she would pick the most ostracized, lonely, disrespected person in the whole Kingdom of Oz. Someone that doesn't have an ounce of privilege, except for magic. She's the only one she's one of like 2 people that can only do magic. She can't fathom to believe that it must be some magic shit. Well, also, she must have done something to this nigga.
That could stem from her own fear as well, because she's been so praised by everybody that if Fiero, the person who she loves most, doesn't want her, that validates her own insecurity that she ain't shit and she can't think of herself in that way.
Yep. I can't. It can't be anything about me. The system must be wrong.
Yeah.
Like she must have done something to like warp his mind. We have to hurt her. We have to get back at her. And then they drop and we can talk about the Nessa Rose of it all, because Nessa, girl, you are too fine to be this fucking messy.
Yeah, Nessa ain't shit and Fiero ain't shit.
Fiero hot shit. Nah, I'm fucking with Fiero. Fiero was on one.
How you gonna be with a girl you don't like for years just so you can get your other girl? That's crazy.
That's the game. That's what we was talking about. Glinda realized she not bigger than the program. Cause the minute his shawty popped back up, he died for her.
Yeah.
He got his ass beat so that his woman could escape. He was half naked by the time she was halfway through the song, in his drawers, floating masculinely in the air is that interview. So let us know. Did you see that between Corn Sweat and Jonathan Bailey in that minor niggas were mad because they don't understand subtext thing?
Wait. Oh, that she was carrying him in the air?
Yeah, David Cornsweat was talking to Jonathan Bailey on I think it was an Actors on Actors about the scene, and he said something to the effect of like, it's impressive that you can still remain masculine while being like carried in the air during that sequence, and niggas that just don't have critical thought just took it and ran with it.
What do they think that meant?
They think that he was and again, David worded this terribly. And maybe I'm offering a little bit more grace. And I have bias towards David because I generally like him as a talent. So I'll lead with that. But people are saying that it's like, oh, that he's implying that you have to still be like a macho man while a woman is like the one leading the scene. So it's like they're implying that David is being misogynistic by saying that it's like, oh yeah, you don't have to lower yourself. You can still be macho while you're being floated in the air in a musical by a green woman. That is how I took other people's interpretation. You can read much more of that on Threads if you just find those. Now, how I interpreted that was that masculinity has dimensions. Masculinity has softness. Yes. You can still maintain being a beautiful, competent man and also let the woman lead. Yes. She had the power. She lifted him into the air. People, I think, were taking it as, oh, you're the woman in this situation, but you still look like a man. You still look manly and macho. Versus like, no, there is a range to presentation of gender, and it's nice that you can still like, not that your manhood is not diminished by letting a woman lead, by letting a woman have the power. It's beautiful. So it's like neither party has to be torn down for the other to be uplifted, literally and metaphorically. Okay. You both are beautiful people having a beautiful moment, regardless of what your gender is, regardless of how you present. You can still be masculine and have a woman carry you in her arms. Not because you have to be macho, but because, yeah, it's like you held your own with Cynthia fucking Erivo. Vocally, physically, character-wise, how they scripted you and wrote you. Like, she's the lead main character, and you kept up with her. Yeah. The same way where if it's like Avengers, we don't discount Black Widow just because she's next to Thor.
Right.
If anything, we tear down Hawkeye more. So it's like that was my read. But yeah, it's like as someone that is a member of the LGBTQ, shout outs to the Qs, it's like I feel like I can weigh in a little bit on white people not knowing how to, especially like white queers not knowing what to do either when queerness is not centered around them, or when a queer character has a relationship with a man who makes his own decisions that are actually in favor of a person of color. Like if you're like, there's a little bit of that. He didn't pick the white woman thing, so he must be the bad guy, or why did he break up my ship? Again, there's nothing wrong with shipping. There's nothing wrong with that. I shipped them in the first movie. In the second movie, Glinda and Elfie Glinda was a jump off, because that is what it is. I saw the chemistry between them. I like them together. I like where they ended up. Now, narratively, how that's structured, we can have a conversation about. Oh, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about Nessa Rose, messy ass, having the funniest bigotry of 2025. Which, like, I won't lie, I laughed at her racism, not because it was like actually funny, but because it was so unfathomably petty. Where it's like, Nessa, I must go tell Galinda how I feel. And she said, no, nigga. Like, he was going to the train. It's like, actually, the governor just said that everybody can leave except for specifically the Munchkins. I'm like, that's some cold shit. Right. You're a petty bitch. Damn. Well, how that's hilarious, but I would be furious where I'm like about to go to fucking Osworld on vacation with my family, saved up all this money for months. All right, family, get on the train. It's that nigga's fault. y'all got to get it co-signed. Yeah, it's like the governor said you can't go. Well, why not? You better look a couple stops down at him, have all his bags packed to tell the bitch that he loved, don't get married, marry me when she's just going to say no. And go back there all sullen and everything. It's like, oh, you're back. That's so crazy that they wouldn't let you get on the train. Well, while you're here, I guess we could play cards or chess.
That was diabolical.
Like, it is such a nasty type of racism that it's actually kind of funny. Where it's like, if only you could have got on the train and told Glinda how you feel before she gets married. Well, I guess you're just stuck here with little old me rolling wheels around the front. But hey, it's okay. Maybe you and I can just play cards and chat and just see what happens.
Right, just leveraging her power. so she could have this man in her life, which is so fucked up.
I hate to say it, and this may be the crazy, unhinged part of me that is still healing from my own history of very bad relationships. But it's like, if a man did that, oh, we're throwing him to the fire. But the fact that it was a woman of color with a disability, it was a little funny. Like, trapping a white man with you in a world that doesn't have a conventional form of racism but does have a class system is like a hilarious thing to watch from a meta point of view. Like, it's like, oh, sorry, buddy, but hey, you still got me, right? Which, that's kind of sad for her. Yeah. In its own right, where it's like, hey, buddy,
keep that man by your side, a man who doesn't want you to begin with.
You forced a man to settle.
Yeah. Through power.
Like, yeah, just like, hey, man, the legs may not work, but the pussy do. So, you know, we all got to make sacrifices sometimes. You know, it's like, you know what? I wish, it's like in my heart of hearts, I wish that somebody else could have seen me like you do. But since they don't, and I got you, come on home. He know where home is. Like,
hey, we deserve each other.
We deserve each other. Me and you, we got the same haircut, got the same dude. Like, come on. It's like one of my favorite songs from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Settle for me. Why don't you settle for me? Like, come on, baby. Don't go up there where those dreams are. Don't go up to the Silver Green City. You know where home is. Come home to Big Mama. Like, come on home to Nessa Rose. Like, it's so despicable, but unfortunately, it's kind of hilarious. Because like,
she got a house dropped in her ass.
I was actually mad about that too. I actually got mad, like rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go. Got to follow the rainbow. Sorry. Sonic the Hedgehog jumped in my head. But just rolling through the city. Bach, where are you? And fucking. Not only does this evil ass witch, Madame Morrible, Wicked Witch, drop a house on her, a fuck ass house on the one shawty in the whole city that's wheelchair bound. So it's not, so she can barely get away. Even if she activated her flight mode and tried to fly away, I think that house still would have squashed her. But then Glinda, with your bitch punk ass, gives my sister's silver shoes to this fuck ass white girl from Kansas.
Right.
And has her mosey off, follow the yellow brick road. Hey, follow the yellow brick road. Hey, pop locking and shit. With the goddamn Tin Man. Ow, I was pissed. I was fucking hot. Because you dropped a house, and then the last thing I had from my family that didn't even love me is on my sister's feet. And you say, here, little bitch, walk your ass up to the city, to the Silver City. I would have beat Glinda's ass too. Fuck what we had. You better catch these hands, ho. I don't care if we were popular. Boom. I wanna be. I don't give a. All that shit is in the garbage. You killed my sister. Fuck you.
I mean, she didn't kill her sister, but you disrespected her sister.
You gave them the idea.
Or no,
you put the battery.
Maribel was like, we could take it there.
Yeah. You taking it there? I'm taking it further. Like, you put the battery in that hoe's back, I gotta beat your ass. It's like Winter Soldier in Civil War. Yeah, you know, you were under mind control, but that's my mama. I gotta lay hands on you. At least a couple.
Maribel got off too easy in that movie.
Yeah, it's like, throw her in the prison. I got to put hands on you, dog. I'm sorry.
Elphaba should have got her lick back. She should have got something against her.
Like Elphaba was fighting with her jump off in a parking lot. Who hasn't seen a main bitch and a side bitch fight in a Walmart before? Happens to the best of us. That fight scene was funny, actually. That was very funny.
It was funny, but I don't know. I was a little taken out because I was just like, this girl's sister just died and she ain't even like the least bit sad about it. She was just, I don't know.
Yeah, and because the last conversation they had was a fight, even though it was Nessa Rose's fault for reading from the book, knowing damn well she didn't know how to read it. And then Boxer was like, my heart! It starts fucking collapsing.
She took his heart away, and then the Elphaba gave him the body.
Have you seen the edits that put King Von under him when he was Tin Man looking up at Glinda?
No, I haven't.
I can't remember if I was, because he started popping off when he was telling me, we have to kill the witch. And it's like, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, not they put King Von under, because they were talking about how he was so jolly in the MGM version. Just you know, clankety, 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 clank. And dancing like all in the MGM version, just jolly as can be. But the minute he's in Oz, they're like, we have to kill the witch. We gotta get this green bitch, lay her body in a casket, take my axe like a hatchet. It's like, goddamn, bro. Like the switch up was crazy.
Right, crazy as hell, fast as hell.
Right, and he's blaming Elfie for trying to save his life. Nessa was the one that trapped you in that predicament to begin with.
Like,
but I guess since she had
that, were you not there?
Did you forget the whole? Hey, buddy. Yeah, it's tough to be disappointed sometimes when you don't get the things you want. But hey, let's get these dominoes out. You know,
that was the part.
It's just you and me.
I'm not clear about. Did his memory get fucking erased of what happened 2 seconds ago, or like what happened his entire life prior to that?
Well, that's the other thing, because it's not like he lost his mind. So he must have had it. Well, and that's what makes it dicey when they try to fold in the parts about the MGM version. Although I do like how they alluded to the ruby slippers. I did think that was very, very creative. I will give them that.
Yeah, because
that was a good one.
Did you know that in the original play, it was supposed to be that she like gave her the ability to walk, but because
yes, yeah, they talked with the which I believe that they actually talk with the actress to figure out what would work. And I like the update where it's like, you know, she's like, I feel terrible. I wish I could have that happiness again. And that's what the flying represents.
Mm.
So it wasn't like she wished to fly. She wanted to feel that joy. And so feeling that sort of like floaty levity was something that made her happy again. But when her mood changed, it went down. And I think someone else had said part of the reason and this ties in with the MGM version, and there's more so a theory now. I don't think there's explicitly text, but I like to go with it as a fan canon. How Dorothy got home is the magic was in the shoes. That's why she floated, you know, when they burned, so they get the ruby slipper illusion. But Dorothy got home because the magic was still there. Just like, what do you wish for? What would make you, you know, the most happy? I believe and wish that I want to go home, so that's why it worked.
Now, is that something from the original book, or is that something from the MGM version?
That part about the magic being in the shoes is something I read from fans. So that's a fan theory.
Okay. I mean, she did put the magic in the shoes. She said they were red hot, and that's what they did turn ruby red.
Yeah. So it's like, but the magic of that is in the text of the movie. I don't know about the book or the original play, but I do like how they worked around that ultimately. So it wound up working for me. They had some fun illusions, but it's like, yeah, I think one of the most interesting things that we just never get to really engage with is Fiyero being the Scarecrow and Bach being the Tin Man. They've met. Yeah. They've hung out.
They've all met, except for Dorothy, because the fucking Fiyero took care of the cub.
They've all hung out because, so I don't know if you saw the deleted scene that got released, but remember that snippet that was like Nessa, Galinda, Elphaba, Bach, and Fiyero like running around under the tree? The deleted scene is out there of that full sequence. It's only a minute long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's like a minute long, like a flat minute. I don't know why I think they cut it for pacing. I don't think they needed to because it's 1 minute. Like, it's all edited and everything looks great. And I'm like, well, that would have added a little bit of more flavor to that sequence. But these motherfuckers all know each other and have hung out.
Yeah.
Like all 5 of them
yeah.
together. This is in the actual movie. And it's like, usually, you try not to count deleted scenes. This is in the movie. We see them all hanging out, laughing and shit together. So they know each other. So what the fuck happened when they were with Dorothy? Because did Fierro just keep his lips shut? Or in Bach's just like, we gotta go after that fucking witch. She's gotta transform me back. It's like, yeah, man, for sure. You look kind of familiar. And it's like, nah, what? I just must have one of them faces.
Nah.
I could be anybody.
I'm not Fierro. I'm Ryan Reynolds.
I'm Figaro. You ain't heard of me. It's like, yeah, you look just like the guard of the Air Force. That's so crazy. I get that all the time. Well, if I only had a brain, it's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, and then just like, so they want to fold in these characters without allow them to fully be characters because they want to preserve the mystery and magic of the Wizard of Oz. So it's just a weird movie, bro. Just a weird experience.
Yeah, it's like, I like it as a musical. I like it as a piece of entertainment. I hate that it, from an acting perspective, from a movie perspective, it hits all the notes. I wish that it was at the same kind of tightness that part 1 was. Because part 1 on its own honestly works perfectly well as just its own movie.
100%.
Part 2...
I love part 1.
Part 2 has the Dr. Sleep problem of trying to interweave a narrative of, let's be honest, another movie from a completely different company in with it. I think, had they just stuck with the book, and this is also possibly a crux just with the musical itself, is the allusions to the movie. And from what I've heard about the original Wicked book from the 90s and part of that series, it is also adhering to elements from the movie.
Well, I listened to a book versus play thing recently, or someone breaking down the book. The book...
Was it sorry, go ahead.
It's like a British guy, but
okay. Yeah, same guy. We're thinking of the same person, I think.
Yeah, the book is completely different from the musical as well. So the movie is an adaptation of an adaptation of an adaptation, which is homaging another movie, another book.
Yeah, no, the Wicked book, it's is it Dom? I think his name is Dom.
But apparently Elphaba has like a whole kid in that version, and Fierro dies. And
yeah, there's like 6 books in the Wicked series ongoing.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's very different from the musical. And Bach isn't the Tin Man in that version, huh?
Dominic Noble, I think is his name. He's a great content creator. He does a lot of those. If we're thinking of the same one,
we may be. Or it's like, Why Your Movie Sucks. I don't remember his name. We can look it up after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you were saying, is like a adaptation microcosm that has a lot of kind of craziness up against it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just an interesting experience. I prefer the first one, but if anyone out there likes the second one, then more power to you.
Yeah, I think it has high highs and confusing lows, but I came out like even with the ending of like, Elphaba and Fierro walking into the mysterious unknown, I actually was okay with that. Even though, like in the original text, apparently that like it was like this unfathomable realm that just tore people to shreds. I am like I think one of the Rocky things, even with the themes, especially just like exploring and unpacking and undermining like a fascistic government that they make very much explicit throughout. That was another one of the songs I like. I like Jeff Goldblum's song, where it's just like, it doesn't matter if you're doing the right thing if people believe the thing that is wrong.
Right. Because
I run into that that I love that, not because it's good, but because it's true. Mm-hmm. It's a sad truth too, but it's like a lot of people, under Trump get a battery in their pack because they're like, yeah, but I like what he says. Yeah, but what he says is some evil, diabolical shit. I know, but I like his personality. I think he's funny. It's like,
oh God,
it's like, y'all motherfuckers are crazy.
Yeah, I don't care about humans, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like, you don't care about doing the right thing. You care because it makes you feel good.
Makes you feel good and it benefits you.
Yeah. And that is how Oz kept so much power until, Elphaba fucked his game up and got the shit right and restored the kingdom. And I think it is hard. And I can understand there's a bit to unpack even with her character, being very much coded as a black woman. Because she has to live with a title of infamy in order for society to be united, but like at the least she gets the guy, but she has a very lonely life. Like when you look at Elphaba in the grand scheme, her life is really tragic, where it's like she is a consequence of the infidelity of her mother with the absent and disconnected fascistic ruler of the kingdom that she lives in, resulting in her being ostracized by everybody, including her own family, and bullied for such. Meanwhile, she has access to like the greatest power in the land that ostracizes her even further. She has to be the freedom fighter and representative for a whole other class of creatures that are just straight up leaving. They're like, we don't want to do this anymore. We don't want to fight. We're tired. So she's basically fighting by herself for like 20, 25 years just to die the villain.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that will emotionally satisfy people enough for them to tolerate others that are different. We needed one. It's like, oh, the Wicked Witch is the one who did all of this, who brought everything, under the issue. So we banished Oz, or Oz is going away, for other ventures, and wants to bring back in that oppressed class that he told us were evil, but turned out they were just like anybody else because he comes from, 1800s, carny America where racism is already a thing. So it's like Wicked is a really daunting, sad tale for Elfie, where it's like the least she can get is the one person that fought for her literally till his dying breath and had to be rebuilt out of straw. Like, that is a very sad, lonely, like she had friends for like a year.
Yeah.
Like, her own sister didn't want to hang out with her. Her own sister was treated more with respect and had a disability. And the only difference is like they both look different, but she looked more different than her sister despite being able-bodied. And so it's like her sister's like rather be with the in-group. And it's when you step back and look at Elfie's own narrative across two movies, it is a tragic, lonely one where this is just somebody that wanted to be accepted by everybody else and had to have the weight of their world put on her shoulders to fix it. And then her reward is death and infamy.
Yep.
And functionally banishment.
Yeah, they already thought she was fucking evil to begin with because of her skin. They already didn't like her, and now they just got justification for believing that. It's fucking garbage. It sucks. It's like, it's unfair.
It's bad enough that she's treated differently for looking different. Then she's treated differently for looking different and having power that makes them scared. Yeah. That she's going to be violent or lash out. So it's like, I can only imagine what that hits like being a black woman watching this narrative where your reward is the reward you get for bringing people together is for you to be alone aside from one person. The only person that took a risk, that was willing to take a risk and be uncomfortable with you because they accept you for being different. That was another one of the lines where it's just like, where he was some along the lines of like, she was surprised that he liked her with her being green. And it's like, cause she was odd. He's like, well, that's, something like, that's what he likes the most. And I think I can see how people took it like dismissively or it's like, oh, he likes her because he's weird. That's kind of fetishizing. It's like, no, it's like he appreciates her uniqueness. Yeah. Is what it means. That, at least that's the message I got from it. Again, maybe I'm talking about my ass.
And that man didn't even need to die because, again, she had whole flying monkeys on her side. You know how strong monkeys are? Strong as shit.
I guess the spell goes faster than an ass whooping, though.
What do you mean?
Because she said the spell, the whole nama nama. Then I think the monkeys could travel to save him because she was trying to.
The
save
monkeys
him
were
in that
there.
Moment.
The monkeys are what helped her get away. That the monkeys are what brought him there to intervene, to break up Elfie and Glenda fighting in the first place. At least in this iteration of the movie. So she flew away with the monkeys. I was like, he could have easily gotten away in this version. I don't know how it plays out in the play.
Yeah, I ain't got one for that one. Yeah, you got it.
I was like, go back and watch that
Fair
scene.
enough.
She
I didn't
flying
think
off
about
with
that.
like 5 monkeys, and he just held by 2 dudes. I was like, come on, y'all. They could have done something. Maybe the way that was staged wasn't right, but I was I don't believe that shit.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it, but no, you got it. I don't have an excuse for that one. I can't save their ass on that. All right, we want to move on to the last 3.
We haven't recorded in a minute, so this conversation went long, almost 5 hours. We split it into 3 parts so you can enjoy it without feeling overwhelmed. The reason you're hearing TTS is because I'm currently editing in a coffee shop. Much love. Will the Greatest.